Hello, everyone. Sue Onishchuk here. I am here today to do this video on the Course in Miracles preface. That's at the very beginning of the book. For those of you who may have your book, you might want to take it out and somewhat follow me, because I'm not going to be reading that whole section, which is called What It Is. I'm going to give you some highlights on that particular section because it is quite long, and I'll leave it for you to do your own reading of it. There's a lot in there. So with that, let me see, what else do I want to say at the beginning of this? Okay, tomorrow you can view the first lesson of the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And as I have mentioned in my previous videos, I will be doing a video of the 365 lessons of the Course in Miracles over the next year. So for those of you who are committed to step forward in practicing the Course in Miracles, for those of you who may have been practicing the Course in Miracles and are continuing on that path and that journey, I welcome you. And I appreciate all of you and your support as I create this Course in Miracles community here on YouTube. So with that being said, I'm going to start, and I will be doing a considerable amount of reading. I have tried to as I said, to just highlight this preface. So, and again, to give you an idea, for those of you who have not done the course, some of the distinctions, some of the concepts that you will be presented with in A Course in Miracles. And for those of you who have been studying the course, like myself, for the last, 20 some odd years, and as I continue to do this course, I always find something that I may have read several times before and really did not get the same impact as I do in certain moments as I read the course. It just continues to bring my consciousness to a higher level. And as you do the course as well, you will also find that it will raise your consciousness and raise your awareness to the fear-based thinking that we have been patterned, trained in, socialized in, the habits we formed around that in terms of our thinking. And the Course in Miracles is a process to undo all that, which they refer to as the ego. And so as you're doing the first part of the lessons, that's the process, and it's the practical aspect of it. So I'll leave it at that. And we'll obviously be sharing a lot as we're going along over the next year together. So to get started here, as I said, I'll be reading what it says, and I'll be adding a little reflection as we go. So just sit back, because this one may be a lengthy one, but it's loaded with a lot of beautiful, inspiring, spirit-filled information. So what it is, or I'm sorry, what it says: nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. And herein lies the peace of God. Don't we all want peace? This journey of A Course in Miracles will, as you practice, implement this, will bring you to more and more peace. So this is how A Course in Miracles begins. It makes a fundamental distinction between what it says, it's the real world and the unreal world, between knowledge and perception. Well, knowledge is truth under one law, the law of love, the law of God. And truth is unalterable, eternal, and unambiguous. And it can be unrecognized, but it cannot be changed. And it applies to everything that God created. Not and only what he created is real. Only what God created is real. It is beyond learning because it is beyond time and process. It has no opposite, no beginning and no end. It merely is. The world of perception, on the other hand, is the world of time, of change, of beginnings and endings. That's what we experience. It is based on interpretation, our individual interpretation, not on facts. It is the world of birth and death, founded on the belief. It's founded on the belief of scarcity, of loss, separation, and death. And it is learned. All of this is learned rather than given. And then it's selective in its perceptual emphasis, unable or unstable, I should say, in its functioning, and inaccurate in its interpretations. That's the world of perception. And we're the perceivers. Again, now from knowledge and perception, respectively, two distinct thought systems arise, which are opposite in every respect. Now, in the realm of knowledge, no thoughts exist apart from God, because God and his creation share one will. And that's a will with a capital W, referring to God. And as you do the Course in Miracles, you will see the capitalized sections, which are referring to the truth and to God. I should say the capitalized words. So the world of perception, however, is made by the belief. We have a belief in opposites and separate wills. We have a belief in perceptual conflict with each other and with God. Now, what perception sees and hears, it appears to be real because it permits into our awareness, only what conforms to the wishes of the perceiver. We're the perceiver, our wishes. This leads to a world of illusions, which they also refer to the world of illusions as a dream world. A world which needs constant defense, precisely because it is not real. We believe it's real. When you have been caught in the world of perception, again, you're caught in a dream. So there again, I mentioned the illusions and the dream. You're caught in a dream. And you cannot escape without help, because everything your senses show merely witnesses to the reality of the dream, of the illusion. And God has provided the answer. The only way out, the true helper, God has provided that. It is the function of his voice, his Holy Spirit, to mediate between these two worlds. So the world that we see merely reflects our own internal frame of reference. That's what we're working on as we do the course, is our own inner world. We often look at the world out there or of others. This is your own individual self-study, going inwardly, looking at your internal frame of reference. And these are the dominant ideas, the dominant wishes, and the emotions in our minds, our individual minds. And the quote from the Course is, Projection makes perception. What we are projecting out there, that's our perception. Ourself, we're projecting ourselves out there. That is the perception, actually, of ourselves. It's a mirroring effect. And you'll learn more of that and experience more of that as you do the course. So we look inside first. We decide the kind of world that we want to see. Then, from our thinking, from our mind, from our heart, we project that world outside, making it the truth as we see it. Now, that may be of love, and it may be otherwise. The Course distinguishes between fear and love. Fear being the ego, which has been also spoken of as edging God out, and God. Again, fear being ego and God being love. We can't be in both places. We're either in one or the other. And as you do the course, you're going to find that most of your thinking, the greater part of your thinking, is fear-based. So you're raising your consciousness to your thinking, which is fear-based, which is bringing you out of your peace, which is available. So we have the distorted world by our twisted defenses, and are therefore seeing what is not there. And as we learn to recognize our perceptual errors, we'll also learn to look past them or forgive. Forgiveness is a great part of the Course in Miracles. At the same time, we're forgiving ourselves, looking past our distorted self-concepts to the self that God created in us and as us. So again, we are forgiving ourselves. It says in this preface, and you'll read more of that as you're studying and practicing the course, that sin is defined as lack of love. And since love is all there is, sin in the sight of the Holy Spirit is a mistake. It's a mistake to be corrected, only to be corrected, rather than an evil to be punished. How often have you thought of yourself as being a sinner and also thinking you're going to be punished for it? It's our sense of inadequacy. It's our weakness. It's our incompletion. Comes from the strong investment in the scarcity principle, the lack principle that governs the world, or the whole world of illusions. A scarcity or lack conversation is a lack of confidence, for one. God is confidence. Okay, to go further on a couple other concepts, let me just move forward here in my notes. So Christ's vision is the Holy Spirit's gift, God's alternative to the illusion, the dream of separation. We believe we're separated from God. And to the belief in the reality of sin, the belief in the reality of guilt, and the belief in the reality of death. It is the one correction for all the errors of perception. That's the Holy Spirit's, or Christ's vision is the Holy Spirit's gift. It is the one correction for all errors of perception. The reconciliation of seeming opposites on which the world is based. The world is based on good and bad, right and wrong. Any of those opposites, that's what the world is based on. In God's world, there's none of that. Again, it kindly light, I'll do that again. Its kindly light shows all things from another point of view, reflecting the thought system that arises from knowledge and making the return to God not only possible, but inevitable. Now, again, I mentioned forgiveness. So here's a few more distinctions and concepts that are mentioned here in the preface. And forgiveness is unknown in heaven, where the need for it is unconceivable. However, in our world, in this world, forgiveness is necessary. It's a necessary correction for all the mistakes that we have made. Now remember, a mistake or sin or is only a mistake. It's a lack of love. It's something to be corrected. So to offer forgiveness is the only way for us to have it, for it reflects the law of heaven, that giving and receiving are the same. Heaven is the natural state. It's our natural state for all of us, the sons of God, as God created us. And forgiveness, finally here, is the means by which we remember. Through forgiveness, the thinking of the world is reversed. The forgiven world becomes the gate of heaven, because by its mercy, we can at last forgive ourselves, holding no one prisoner to guilt. In doing so, we become free, and that no one definitely, firstly, includes ourselves. So acknowledging Christ in all our brothers, we recognize his presence, God's presence in ourselves. We recognize the Christ in ourselves. We recognize the love in ourselves. It's to see it in others, to recognize it in ourselves. Forgetting all our misperceptions, and with nothing from the past to hold us back. The past is gone. You know, with nothing, again, forgetting all our misperceptions and with nothing from the past to hold us back, we can remember God. Beyond this, learning cannot go. When we are ready, God himself will take the final step in our return to him. So that is from the preface, as I've mentioned a few times, in the Course in Miracles book, and it gives you some of the highlights. It's always good to go back and reflect on these concepts, distinctions, and I hope that that has given you some further understanding of A Course in Miracles, whether you're a beginner or whether you've been studying the course for a while. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I really totally appreciate your support. I'm here with you as you journey into the Course in Miracles, go further into the Course in Miracles, and I will be doing my own work along the way as well. Bye for now.